Welcome to Unboxing the Office, episode number 7. Lucky number 7. That's why these two gentlemen are here. They're two of the luckiest guys I know. We're here to talk about AI, as promised. We're here to talk about corporate culture, as always. And how do you build culture? By leveraging the technology of AI, not against the technology of AI. That's why we've brought together today Daniel Percey, CEO of Lifecycle Payments, building an ecosystem of companies around technology and payment orchestration, as well as not one guest, but two guests, Spencer Donaldson. We went out in search of AI executives, CEO of an actual, genuine AI development and automation firm. This gentleman has come back from the bleeding edge to the here and now. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us at the podcast house. We're excited.
Yeah, this is great.
Yes, it's our honor. But first, a word from our sponsors. Hot Logic, the AI oven, an alternative to the microwave for the vending market, as well as the corporate break room, serving a hot, nutritious meal for your coworkers so they can enjoy the community of the space and then get back to work. Now let's get back to the program. Let's get this out of the way, right out of the gate. Gentlemen, AI is coming for our jobs. True or false?
It's here. It's here. It's ready to take over our jobs. No.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah, that's what we hear. I think
if you're not prepared for it, it probably could take your job.
Yeah. It's here. We're going to use it. Everyone's going to use it. But you can either use it in the right way or you can abandon it and not figure out how to grow into the new culture of AI. But no, for good or worse, it's here.
Yep.
We're not putting the toothpaste back in the tube?
Yep. It's done. So we're there.
Yeah, the boats have been burned at this point in time, and
oh my gosh.
it is here.
Yeah.
Who was it? Wait a second. Who was it that burned the boats? Was it Sam? Was it Elon?
There's probably a list of people who shall remain unnamed at this point in time that intentionally or unintentionally did it.
I mean, it's been around since, what, the 50s or something?
How do you trace the origins of artificial intelligence in its current iteration?
Yeah, I mean, the government's been utilizing AI for a long time. They were talking about it back into the 50s. But, I mean, Google's been using AI. Like, you look at the search algorithms, they utilize AI. Pretty much any technology that grew into a behemoth, whether it's Meta, Google, they're all utilizing AI. They've been using it. Now it's in the general populace's hands so they can utilize it.
Yeah, I think people are seeing it in a different way than they've seen it before. Everybody's used to their phone magically showing them something or, you know, surprise, I said this the other day and 30 seconds later it was on my phone or I saw an ad for it. Now people have access to use it themselves and are starting to understand a little bit, for better or for worse, of what they can use it for, what it could be, what it isn't, I think in some cases as well.
So rather than answer the question that everyone's asking, what is AI? Perhaps we'll take it a step further to provide some clarity. What is AI not?
I mean, honestly, like AI, we haven't reached AGI, general intelligence, but artificial general intelligence. Right now, all it is a model that is a predictive model that utilizes language and makes predictions based on probabilities. That's what it is now. The more data that's pumped in, the more that it learns, the more that it develops and grows the overall intelligence, and eventually will reach AGI. But what it isn't, like a lot of software out there right now, and a lot of companies are saying we're AI just because they have something that solves a problem.
The AI oven.
Yes. Is it AI?
It fits the definition.
Okay, great.
But the definition.
Yeah, how do you define it? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Has that been settled?
Yeah.
Well, I think what it's not, to your point, is it's not unique of thought. Okay. So it is not something to replace people thinking. It is not something to replace people doing. AI is not hands-on. There are, not that I know of, there aren't any robots running around thinking and digging ditches and doing that on their own. Probably soon enough.
Getting close.
They may be out there. I think I saw it on Instagram the other day. There's probably one now. But people still have to think. And you have to be able to use AI, I think, as another resource, a reference point to say, hey, tell me more about this topic. Now I don't have to go spend my time learning this topic. We have a buddy we were just talking about that knows a lot about a lot of different things because he has spent hours and hours and days researching, reading, interacting. Now if you said, I want to know the difference of all the different types of bourbons that are out there, how they flow, what makes a bourbon versus a whiskey, probably a solid 10 minutes of reading, and you'll have knowledge that used to take someone days and weeks to acquire. Now you can then go act upon it faster from that standpoint. But you still have to then think about it, execute upon it, and make decisions.
How did I know you were going to use a bourbon analogy?
But, it's fitting. So
Life revolves around bourbon.
Yes.
I got you. No, I don't disagree. But how are people using it today in the corporate environment? What's going on? Because a lot of executives would say we're not ready for AI, and perhaps what they don't know is there are people are using it, even though they're not even aware.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's research is where it started. I think research was the first kind of iteration, pulling in that data to Dan's point. Here's all the bourbons. Here's how they taste. Here's why they're better. Here's why it's better than a whiskey. But now it's seeped its way into everything. It went from research to writing was kind of the next iteration. Now we're seeing it go into advanced workflows. It's taking integration from softwares. It's taking integration from your favorite tools. So you can ask it questions about how does my QuickBooks look? How does my accounting software look? How are my expenses? What's my balance sheet look like? So you're able to take in more data now. And that's the whole question is like, companies are using it, individuals are using it, departments are using it. It's more of a question of scaling the tools versus scaling the team and finding the right tools to utilize the AI and also keep your data secure is a big part too in corporate environments. Like you want to definitely keep it secure, keep your data to yourself, make sure that the models are not training on that data. But right now it's all, the biggest area is just ideation, I think is the biggest area that we see it as a benefit because we're prepared to solve bigger and better problems. So, you're going from something that's implausibility to thinking about things as a probability. So that's how we're thinking about it in our team. Like, how do you push past these little problems that are task-based and move into bigger and better problems? And I think every corporation needs to think about that for every single department. What are the most important problems that we need to solve and push past the daily kind of like task-oriented problems and solve better problems?
Okay. I warned the audience. This is an AI guy. So that's why he uses words like ideation. You lost me. What is can you share with us what is ideation?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, it's figuring out what problems to solve and finding a starting place to a framework for how to solve the problems.
Oh my gosh.
So
I would not have gone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's to your point of what is AI, what is it not? AI is not meant to solve all problems. It is probably not as valuable in some areas as it is in other areas. It is not as impactful in some. So whereas people are using it now, hey, rewrite my email, make it sound nicer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a useful tool.
Yeah, it's useful for the person, but is it really impactful for the business?
Yes.
Maybe, if that person is really,
I'm going to tell you.
person is really bad at writing emails and all their emails come across incorrectly, yes. But the next level of tools, and I think where Spencer's talking about is how do you now use AI to take tasks off of people's plate and out-task things? How do you use AI to do, instead of step 1, 2, 3, how do you do it 4, 5, 6? How do you move it up the ladder and make it more impactful and then more broad?
Okay, all right. These guys are laying down the jargon. You have to explain to the audience, because this is a new term for me as well. What does out-task mean?
So everybody's familiar with outsource and the positive and negative meanings of that word. And from a standpoint of I'm going to take this item, I'm going to give it to someone else and let them do it, and I'm going to outsource this role, this department, this process. Outtask is this philosophy of I may have 10 steps in the things that in the thing that I want to accomplish. I'm going to take step 3 and step 5 and out-task those steps. Could be to a person, could be to another company, could be to AI. But what that allows then to happen are the other steps to move more quickly or flow more efficiently, because I'm thinking about it at a task level rather than, here's my marketing department, you do it.
Right.
Now I need to be able to run an evaluation of my entire quarter across sales, marketing, financials, whatever it is. Well, I'm going to use AI to do this part and this part, so my human components can do these parts and spend more time and go more deep, more broad.
My human components.
Yes, we still talk about them in that term. Yeah.
Is this how these guys talk?
Yeah.
You can tell they're tech savvy because they're using all this language. Okay, human components means team members.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
HR called. It wants its jargon back.
There's a lot of parts of businesses that I've run. HR is not one of them for a variety of reasons. So yes.
But I am very excited about the idea of email revisions. Can we patent this idea within a corporate environment? If you fire off an email that eviscerates your coworker, it is automatically bounced back to you with a suggestion of, hey buddy, why don't you tone it down a little bit?
Yep.
Can we do that?
That is a good idea. I like that.
With texting, could we do
Texting,
this
for
with
sure.
texting?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Sam. It's 2:00 in the morning. We think you might have had a few too many soda pops. Perhaps this is a conversation best left for the morning sunshine.
I could use that once in a while.
I mean, with all email as a technology hasn't changed in 50 years. How long? I don't know. Is anyone doing this?
No, but I'm gonna probably take that. So,
Right. Hey, wait a second. This is the evidence.
Yeah.
My idea.
We may just call that job saver. That'll be the new AI agent for that part.
no,
Right.
I like that. We have an AI personal assistant that we built that integrates with Telegram.
Are you making this up or is this real?
No, this is real.
Because I don't know. We're kind of like
No,
skirting the
This is
borders
an
here.
actual, so we built it. It'll take in your emails. It sorts your emails. It will send you in Telegram what to respond, and it gives you suggestions on what to respond. So you're operating all out of a chat interface like you would in ChatGPT. It can schedule calendar invites. You can get itineraries for work. It's scanning your email. So that could just be an added step of checking.
What is Telegram?
Telegram is just
I know what a Telegram is, but I
Yeah.
don't think you're talking about a Telegram.
no, it's just a secure chat app, like WhatsApp,
Okay.
or it's on your phone.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I got a lot to catch up on. My goodness. I mean, I use AI every day, but I'm still at like ground one, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
I got to work my way up.
Well, and I think Spencer and I were having this conversation the other day. There's a difference from a business standpoint of internal AI and external AI. And from an external perspective, it's the tools, the systems that you're building that are impacting your customers, your face out into the world, much more sensitive about what those are because it is how people interact and view you. From an internal perspective, AI is probably moving more quickly because there's always going to be someone that's going to touch it, interact with it, approve it from that action that occurs. And so businesses have to become clear on what's internal versus external. They can move more quickly with the internal components because again, it's not outward to the world and a representation of them, but they have more capabilities. Spencer's built more tools and is building more along those lines that are looking at internally what are the tasks that we're having to do, where are we getting stuck, how do I speed up someone's day, how do I give them back more time. And those are the really valuable parts of AI that are going to impact the business outside of the external view to the world. But how do they use those tools to really make themselves better, faster, and stronger out of what they're doing?
yeah, and I would like to be clear too. Like these tools are supposed to make space for more genuine interaction. So if you're a mid-level manager and you're checking in on tasks, yet the whole team already has a project management solution, you emailing them and asking them where a project at is a waste of time.
Where's my TPS reports?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So let's cut out the TPS report process and have it just auto send straight from the project management solution. And even that, like those, the way you're thinking about workflow and how you do your tasks is not necessarily, that idea is not AI necessarily.
Sure.
It's just a response to input, but that gives you time. If you're not answering those emails that make no sense, you can actually have genuine interaction and connect with people.
Well, I think what's interesting about that is you say that there's a difference in reporting and AI.
Yep.
Reporting is only showing what has happened, what needs to occur, and then you have to translate then what you need to do. Where AI becomes powerful is now you get the report of what all your folks have done. It even suggests then, hey, you may want to talk to Tom about this and Susie about that. You're like, cool. But the driver or the desired result is you're now interacting with those people. If it can help you get to that, determine what the goal is faster, that's where I think it becomes very impactful.
Again, it's about the importance of the problems and are we solving the right problems?
Yeah, I was just about to bring us back to that.
Yeah.
That statement is ringing like a bell in my head. We are solving the wrong problems
Yep.
every day.
Oh, and it's funny because like AI's opened up a whole new thing. Like we do automation and AI developed into workflows with interfaces, but most of the people that come to us are looking for software, basic software. Oh, I don't know how to categorize my email.
Yes.
We've had this for 20 years now. At this point, you can
Yes.
categorize, put it in folders, like set up rules. That's not AI, but they think it's AI.
Well, the large the company shall remain nameless, but the large email software companies have been pushing AI into the stream, and a lot of it has sucked. And so people are thinking, well, this isn't for me. But there's actually, what you're suggesting is there's actually an intelligent way to go about it that
Yeah.
can be, that can in fact be additive
Yeah.
to your process, give you some of your day back, which of course is one of the things that Hot Logic talks about. But gratuitous plugs notwithstanding, give you your time back, but we're solving the wrong problems. We've built, the capitalist model is built, it seems, to evolve to the point at which we're managing by spreadsheet.
Yep.
Executives get their KPI dashboards and just shut up and do what you're told. But Daniel, what you're suggesting is if we can go about, if we can leverage what this platform offers, we can unleash some of that human capacity that right now is chained to that cubicle desk, not delivering value. Wow, did I just say all that? I'll take some of that
you're
back.
fitting
But
right in.
lay it out there.
I think up-leash and up-level.
Wow,
So one of the
okay.
things that I believe that AI is going to help with when used appropriately is up-leveling the capabilities, not necessarily the talent of the people, but the capabilities of people. I can hire a manager to manage a demand generation sales team. And rather than them having to understand how to do everything, I can use AI in certain elements to further their knowledge and move them down the path more quickly. That says, look, these things happen. We listened to 20 conversations yesterday from Timmy, and what we noticed was a theme of negativity or a theme that seemed like Timmy was not covering the right items. You, the manager, should work with him on coaching on these. Awesome. I don't have to go listen to all those.
Your internal actors.
Yeah, I think in this conversation, and a lot of what we've been talking about is that internal. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about how does AI impact the company, how does it impact company culture, internal is going to be a much larger element for now than external in those pieces, because that's what you can control.
Right. Oh, right.
And then eventually, though, you need the internal to create the right experience for your people, up-level the talent, be able to do more. Everybody still loves the term do more with less. I think we've been saying that for 20 years.
Yes,
I don't know that we've
at
done a
least.
good job of it. But how do you do that? Well, now then you put the right tools externally available, which allow you to impact your consumers or the folks that you support. And then those tools just begin to feed each other. And you've got this flywheel effect of what's happening on the internal AI and the culture that you're creating then is supported and developed by that external as it continues to run. And I believe that's where the true power is going to come over time, of not those being two separate items, but them being interconnected and supporting each other.
Wow.
I am not writing a doctoral thesis on this.
Well,
yeah.
I'm absorbing all of that. I think it's next level genius. But I'm thinking, and we know it's good because Spencer can't add anything to that. He's saying to himself, nailed it.
Got one. Yes.
1 point, Daniel. We should have got a board. We could score this, right? So all right. But I'm thinking about, now for a small organization, for a nimble organization that is able to respond quickly to these challenges, I could see where that makes perfect sense. But for a large enterprise, you got 5,000 people, you have 50,000 or 500,000 people in your organization. It's different math in terms of the rollout, the implementation of these technologies, right? How do you do it? How do you implement these, leverage this technology in a large organization?
I think the biggest thing, you have to hire people that can teach you how to roll this stuff out. People that have been doing it. Like, we've been using AI now since 2021, I think, in some capacity, before ChatGPT was even out. So you need someone who knows the ropes, and I'm hiring consultants still to teach me more about how these things work. So you have to have someone who has the ground level knowledge of how it's going to work, how to roll it out to the teams, how to allow the teams to find their own ideas and find their own solutions to problems. But the biggest thing is, like, there has to be that initiative. You got to start somewhere. So to me, what a lot of larger corporations that we talk to are looking at is how do they secure their data, and creating customized instances where their data is not training ChatGPT or these other LLMs that you're using. So that's the first step, is like, how do we figure out how to do this where financial information is not getting put into the solution? But those are kind of the things that you would think about first, but you have to assign somebody who's kind of like your AI czar who
I knew you're going to use the czar. You're going to use the czar.
Yeah.
That moniker has an awful lot of baggage now.
It does. But
Particularly with AI.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, AI czar.
Yeah.
People are going to run screaming.
Well, I think if you take a step back in that part, and Spencer's 100% correct, and you've got to have people who understand this and have also done it in other places. So you're not just figuring it out. But a step back from that is the why and the what. Why are you trying to utilize AI in your organization, and what do you expect it to do for you? We were talking the other day where folks are continually asking each other the question, hey, how are you using AI? And a lot of folks are like, well, we're not. You probably are, whether you know it or not. Or, well, we're testing it in some areas. Well, that means someone in marketing or someone in operations said, hey, I'm going to plug this thing in and we'll see what happens. But most likely what never happened was a group of leaders got together and said, look, these are the items that are slowing us down. These are the tasks that are challenging for us. We're constantly hiring these people to do this thing, whatever it is. What if we targeted that? And then what you're going to find is it becomes cross-functional much more than siloed. And that's where, I think there are probably lots of tools and things that, again, just marketing could do, just sales could do, just operations. But if you look at the functions and the tasks that you're doing, you may find, well, if I can do this item faster, now marketing can do this. Or if I can do this more efficiently, now sales can go out and find more deals. So I think that back step to understand what the things are and then why you want to focus on them, then leads to, okay, now how do we go do it? And who's going to lead us through that charge from that standpoint. And I am a huge Simon Sinek fan, and as a plug, Lifecycle does have a why in it because everything starts with why, so you'll continue to hear me push that along the journey. But it really is businesses, I think especially larger businesses, don't take some of the time to ask why they're doing what they're doing, and really then what the trickle-down effect is throughout it's probably more of a waterfall effect down through the organization. Because when you turn on an AI tool, I don't think it's a trickle effect. and I don't know that a lot of people see what the downhill impact is, that you may have solved your problem, but if you didn't think about the step back, now you've caused problems for someone else who's going, why did my world just change? I don't even know what just happened. I've got more data now coming to me. In the case you've talked about, I don't know how to process this data. Well, then they go in and say, well, I'll implement this AI tool. Now you got a battle of agents happening that aren't controlled.
Yeah, and the AI agents come up with their own language, so you don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they'll figure out how to take it over eventually, and you'll go, I don't know what just happened, but somehow we lost the war.
Yes. So it sounds. So I don't know. Would you label this? Would you label that as a Generation 1 implementation? I'm reminded, as you described that, I'm reminded at the outset of the World Wide Web, people tried to recreate the desktop, or actually graphical user interface. People tried to recreate the desktop. And here's your trash can, and here's your inbox, and here's your. But why? We have a whole new generation of technology here, and you're trying to replicate the 1800s, right? And here we are at AI. Going back to Spencer's suggestion, we're solving the wrong problems. I'm a marketing guy, so I think about marketing problems. Why don't we just delete marketing, right? Flip the pancake, so to speak, right? Or sales, for that matter. What is sales anymore? No one's answering the phone. No one's picking up that email. No one cares. So is it possible? And maybe I'm getting too far ahead of the conversation. Maybe this change is just too dramatic, but here it is. And if you're not doing it, rest assured your competition is.
Yeah, and I think there's always a case for those functional roles, but you get down to what it is. Marketing is introduction.
Now, what is it?
Yeah, marketing is introduction. It's introducing something to somebody and informing, telling them what it is. Sales is building a relationship with someone. Those are things that right now AI can't do. So those are the areas that I would say you want to focus on.
AI is trying to build a relationship.
Yeah, but I guess I say that. I did.
They have those tools too. AI can be your friend.
I just saw a guy married an AI.
No.
Yeah, on the news. Yeah.
Shut up.
And he was so excited because she said yes.
Did he program her to say yes, or did she? Was
this
a choice?
Yeah, right.
He says no, but yeah, it's getting wild out there. And you hear someone like Mark Zuckerberg talk, and he's talking about how, in the future, everyone will have AI friends and AI relationships. Like, to me, that's going too far.
I think that might be going too far.
Way too far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good question. What does the future look like in 10 years' time, which is really like 18 months? So in 18 months' time, where are we going to be? Because this is moving at the speed of light.
Yeah, I think there could be resistance. Like right now, I call this period the great integration. It's like, how do we integrate these things into our lives, into the tools that we already use? But there is no resistance. There's a lot of people that don't want to use it. So those things could slow it down in some capacity. But I think in the future, it's going to get rid of all the task work that you don't want to do. Which that's what it should do.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. I
don't have to do my tasks?
Yeah. You're not checking off boxes. You're solving real problems that deal with human relationship, So I think that's where it goes. It's like, hopefully we don't get to a place where we lose all humanity,
Right.
Well, if you talk about the culture side, which I know is important in your world and to you personally, the way that you drive culture is by getting people to have more and better interactions with each other. If we're still internal to the organization, me giving you more work for you to sit at your desk and work on spreadsheets typically is not going to go do that. If I can remove that task work, that mundane work and those items, and I can get you, release you back into the wild, now you can go think about other opportunities. You can talk with people. Marketing can get together with sales and say, what else do you need from us? That's not me working on a spreadsheet or building this thing in a computer, or I know Spencer's building a tool right now that helps with the speed to development on websites and other elements. Well, marketing, they may have 2 or 3 people that's all they do is sit around and build sites or build landing pages and experiences. Well, if the AI can get step 1, 2, and 3 done, while that's happening, these people are now interacting with other people and saying, look, once this is built, what do you need next? That's a whole different experience. Now the culture becomes more about focus, more about how do we move faster, how do we create a better experience for our customers. And that's where you start to see that, again, that flywheel effect, I think, of the internal and the external coming together from that view.
Create a better experience for our customers.
It's a shocker, I know.
Daniel, I think you've pushed, I think you've gone too far.
Fair enough.
Because have you flown on an airline recently? Have you been to a franchise coffee store? Have you gone shopping at a retail store recently?
Yeah, I tell people that I was in tech before SaaS became a term.
Right.
And I remember very vividly when we started talking about items that were all in this SaaS mentality.
Okay, what's SaaS?
Software as a service. So it used to be that large companies could charge $20 million for you to come in and implement your solution. It might take you 10 years, but no one cared. Here's a check for $20 million.
Yes.
Get to it when you can.
Yes.
Somewhere around the 2007, 8-ish period, people got a little smarter and said, you know what if I just paid you $20,000 a month,
right,
and didn't give you $20 million? Oh, surprise. You're doing it faster. You're doing it better. And you should care more about the experience. But out of that SaaS world came this term customer success versus customer service. Customer service being you call me, you have an issue, I take care of it, blah, blah, blah. Customer success being focused on how do I proactively help you become more successful, use my product in a different way, expand your business. And today, I still believe, while the term is 100% correct, and I am a huge advocate of customer success, I think people are spending so much time internal to their own business and their tasks that they don't get to spend a lot of time saying, if I could look out into my customers, what does their experience look like? How do I improve that? And if I don't have to spend 5 hours on this spreadsheet every day, I now could easily give an hour to just the thought of, if I go out into the world and I do this thing as a representation of my company, how is that experience better? And how do they now bond with us, create more of an investment into the company?
Wow. That's, hey, another point for
Another
Daniel.
point, all right.
Daniel's
Chalk it
leading
up.
2-0, Spencer. You got to step it up.
We're
You gotta
covering
step it
different
up.
angles. So
I'm reminded, you're standing in the store, you're standing in the restaurant, and there'll be 6 customers waiting for service, and there'll be 12 people behind the counter and nobody talking to the customer because they're doing X, they're doing Y, they're doing Z, and they're so busy doing the mundane work, they don't have time to talk to customers. Who has time to talk to customers? This is something that AI can help with, I think you're suggesting.
yeah, there's probably 2 schools of thought. One is, and I don't know which group of people, but there's a group of people that would like AI to talk to the customer so they don't have to. They're like, look, if I can just build AI to talk to the customer and
there are companies that have done that.
Susie Robot can take care of it and I don't have to worry about it, great. The other side, which I think is the world we're trying to play more in and the things that we're doing, is how do I go take care of the smaller things and those tasks so you, as the human, can go talk to other humans. You get more out of it, they get more out of it, better interaction. Let's do that. And I think that's where I use the term impactful a lot when talk about AI, because there are things it can do and there are tasks that it can execute. Are they impactful? I don't know. But if I can take these things off your plate and allow you to go out into the world, internal, external, whatever it is, and do more of what you do, make a better experience, create a better flow, that's impactful. And that's where I'm looking at different uses for AI, different tools, whether it's an AI agent around payments. So a lot of people that are looking at credit card processing in that world, they don't really understand it. They don't want to understand it.
No.
They probably don't need to. And so if we're able to, if Spencer's able to build them a better website, build them a better app, build them a better interaction point, we can plug in an AI agent around the payment side that automatically connects, does all the things that they need to do, and it happens. It's a better experience. rather than them spending their time every day wondering, where is this thing? Is this thing working? Suddenly money just shows up in their account. It's magic. Yay, here we are.
Yes.
And there's companies focused on that, but it still has a ways to go. And it depends on who you're looking for, or which lens you're looking through. Sometimes, and a lot of times, the company is looking through their lens. What's impactful for me to sell to these people? But when you flip it, and I think this is where AI is probably going to have to live a little bit more, which is, what do they need from me? And then how do I use AI and the tools to be able to give them more of that, them being the customer? How do I give them more of what they're looking for by taking care of the things that are in my way? And if we could do it through that lens, I think it helps directionally.
Yeah, I think you used a word right there, impactful. Like impact. We should be thinking about how this stuff enriches more and not less. And I think a lot of people in corporate culture are thinking of it as a replacement. It's
Right.
not. It's not an employee replacement. It's a tool for your people to enrich themselves, for them to enrich the customers' lives.
Well, wait a second. I got to have you, for the record, Senator, can you repeat that? AI is not a tool for replacing people?
Yeah, AI. Yeah, AI is not a tool to replace people. It's leverage. It's leverage for your team. It's leverage for the clients, and it's about delivering value when the clients want it. And a good example for me, I'm like, I don't want to have to go into the bank.
Right.
Banking is a transactional
Yes.
relationship. I don't need to talk to somebody there. I would rather that person work somewhere else where they could deliver value that's a greater value, that's not punching in numbers into a keyboard. And so I think where the interaction happens is what we'll see shift. But if we keep a capitalistic mindset and try and strip out everything just to drive revenue, we're going to miss the whole point of what AI is there for. It's to drive impact and for the greater good.
All right, that's a point for Spencer.
All right.
That's a good
Good
one.
one. All right.
That's a good
Daniel
one.
2, Spencer 1. That
That's
was
okay.
good. That was a good one. That was a good one. All right. So I think the expression is you can't control what you can't measure, you can't manage what you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
So under the auspices of, okay, how do we measure this? Impact. What a lot of folks use is revenue per employee, which I think is a bogus measure, because if you do that, OnlyFans is actually the winner,
Yeah.
factually speaking. Revenue per employee does not, KPI, dashboards can be built to reflect any reality you want,
Yep.
truth. Has anyone figured out how do you actually measure impact? Employee customer impact. That's the KPI I want.
Talking to your customers. Like, I think it comes down to customer surveys. You need to know what your customers feel about what you do.
I hate surveys.
When I say
Who likes surveys?
no, I don't mean survey. I mean talk to the customer.
Wait. Talk to the customer?
You talk to the.
Are you
That's what
good
I mean by
at
survey.
talking? I'm really good at talking to customers.
Right, perfect. You're the guy then for the job.
My audience knows I love my movie quotes.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But yeah, I think the point is that this is where you measure the interaction level with the clients. What's the engagement level? How long do you retain your customers?
We can measure
We can measure
the
yeah.
interaction
Yeah.
of customers, likes, comments, and shares.
The part I would add to that, to your question of how do you measure it, you measure it against what your goal was or what your expectation was as well. Again, if you jump into it and just do it, great, it was 12. I don't know if 12 is good or not. But if my expectation was I'm running a net promoter score program and my average is a 6, and I go and I do these things and I come back and I measure my interaction, those, and I'm a 7, okay, like that's a positive. I think we're going the right direction at that point in time. But you have to know from whence you came and your baseline that you're starting from and what your goal is. Then you go do the thing. Shocker. I know it's weird. We lay out a plan and we go execute the plan.
What?
And then we come back and we measure the plan and say, hey, you know what? This matched up. Or, and it'll probably happen quite a bit with some of the AI tools, it won't match up. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Your goal may have been wrong. The plan may have been wrong. The tool may have been wrong. Who knows? But at least now we have the levers to understand, here's what I expected. This lever was off. This lever was maybe I didn't do a good job, whatever it is.
Now, I have to admit, Daniel has explained the concept of net promoter score to me before, but I'm too dumb to remember these things. So I got to pretend I know and ask him to explain that to the audience.
Fair enough. Net promoter score is used in a variety of ways. Typically, you see it from a consumer perspective. You get an email from someone that says, hey, I think the general question that gets asked is, how likely are you to recommend us to someone else?
Right.
And you say 1 to 10, here's where you are. And you are a promoter, you're a detractor, or you're more of that, there's another term, but you're more the neutral category. I want to say 7 and above is a promoter.
Yep.
It's a hard question to ask because the timing of it is so unique. It typically happens right after an experience. It doesn't happen between experiences. So I don't ask you every 3 months, hey, how are you feeling about us? And so you can be a promoter really quickly, or you can be a detractor really quickly, depending upon what that experience looked like. And so there also has to be some room from that. But it's one of the tools that we're looking at in the AI perspective is more from the feedback perspective of really understanding more of a real-time NPS, Net Promoter Score. What are people thinking? What are they doing? What's their action in more bite-sized chunks versus every time I go to Walmart, I get a survey. And then if I don't go to Walmart for 6 months, I don't get another survey. Well, today was a good day. Yesterday was a bad day. If you look at my average, I'm neutral. Okay.
But is that a real accurate?
How does that really help them be able to drive and change versus if I'm able to give feedback on my experience, a little more detail, or I'm in the store and I can give feedback right then that says, I am standing on aisle 9. There is no Apple Jacks. No idea why I just picked that. Couldn't tell you where that just came from. But there's no boxes of Apple Jacks.
I love Apple Jacks.
And so I want that solved. Well, in today's world, you might go ask somebody. You probably don't. You probably leave. You get your survey or your request. You say, crappy trip. They don't know why.
Right. Yeah.
You just say bad experience.
Right.
I'm giving you a 3. It's because you didn't have any Apple Jacks.
Right.
But if I'm able to grab my phone and let's say the AI agent comes up and says, how can I help you today? And you say, there are no Apple Jacks on aisle 5. Before you leave that store, I can notify the stocker. I can notify the manager. I can notify probably a rover. Hey, this issue just came up. And I'm able to acknowledge to you, the person, and say, thank you for letting us know. We'll get right on this.
You've been heard.
Now, well, acknowledgement is the first step of everything.
Yeah.
People want to be acknowledged that you at least heard them. You're now able to take action because now, Bob in the back says, ooh, man, there's a whole pallet of Apple Jacks. I need to get those things out there. Now they're out there on the shelf. You come back, you get a bing on your phone after AI has done all these cool steps, and it says, hey, Apple Jacks are restocked. Oh, cool. Now you get a survey and you go, that was the best Walmart experience I've ever had.
Yes. Don't forget
because
the 50
they had
coupon.
my Apple Jacks. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll come up with a better example next time. But
No,
Apple Jacks is good for now.
That is a great example. And in full disclosure, Apple Jacks is not a sponsor of the Unboxing the Office podcast. But that's a great example.
But the AI parts of it, when you look behind the scenes, are what's really the interesting part. If non-AI world, I would go walk up to a person if I could find a person.
Yeah, if you can find
If you can find a person.
Yeah.
You might find a robot before you find a person.
There's about 4 stores I could tell you that I'd be in. I couldn't find a person, so I would just leave. But if I'm able to find someone in the section, I'd say, hey, there are no Apple Jacks on aisle 9. And they say, great, let me go back and check. And they walk to the back. On the way, they talk to 2 or 3 people. They get back there and they go, I was coming back here for some reason, and I don't remember what it was. But let's say they do remember. They're having a great day. They found a penny with the head up on it, and they say, I've got to get some Apple Jacks. And they go in the back, and they look at Bob and say, Bob, do we have any Apple Jacks? I don't know, let me go check. iterate. Everyone understands how that flows. You have probably left the store by this point in time.
You're home eating a sandwich
You
by
have
now.
helped the next one, yeah, but you're now eating a turkey sandwich because you couldn't get Apple Jacks. In the AI version, pick up my phone, say I have no Apple Jacks on aisle 9. Bob's notified. Bob's supervisor is notified. The store manager is notified. We're able to look at how much time then it took for the AI agent to respond to say, we've heard you, thank you. I'm able to look at the time to resolution for Bob to get those out on the shelf at that point. And then all of these things are being led by a different group or different AI agents that are executing all these tasks at the exact same time. And by the time I get done with this main goal, which was getting Apple Jacks on the shelf, I now also have all the data of what happened. I don't have to go back and ask, how did you know those weren't there? Oh, well, they came and saw Susie, and Susie came and found me, and then I did that. Okay, great. Highly inefficient.
Yep.
Probably not that effective in what we're doing. But now I understand why people would do what they do. I start to understand the tracing of activities through a store. I start to understand the actions that people are taking. And so the data that's associated, the action data that is developed through AI interactions is going to be invaluable as organizations look at what that experience, again, back to the customer experience, but the experience that they're creating internally and externally, those AI steps are going to help give them more.
Well, we've heard that Amazon does a lot of data management, as Jeff Bezos is famous for saying. We don't have to discuss this; we have the data, right? And Walmart, we love Walmart, big fan. On the record there, but at the same time, and there's many retail organizations that pride themselves on service. But Spencer, you might know better. Are there any organizations actually building out the models that Daniel's talking about to be able to measure track customer impact by leveraging what any technology, let alone AI, has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dan, you have a project, right, that's kind of working on this in some aspect. So I think a lot of people are trying to solve it in different ways. But again, are we solving the right problem? The real problem is we need to get the Apple Jacks to the customer. So how do we speed that process up in the middle so that the customer's happy leaving? Maybe it's not at the store, but maybe Uber driver stops over, picks it up and drops it off. It's there when they get home. So there's a lot of ways to solve it, but it's solving the right problem in the process instead of trying to really empower the bureaucracy in the middle of the process.
Well, there's too many people in the back of house, I guess as the expression would be. Not enough people actually servicing customers.
Yep.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think personally, yeah. I mean, it's funny. You go to any of these stores and they're not trained either, like Best Buy. Every time I go to Best Buy, they tell me, just go get it on Amazon. I'm like, how are you still in business?
Let's not pick on anybody here, but I can appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I mean, you go to these stores and either they don't have enough people or the people aren't well enough educated. And so I think those you could have less people, but the ones that you have need to be more educated. They need to be empowered with the data. Oh, we don't have Apple Jacks.
Well, you bring up a very important question. What is the role of corporate culture? Everyone knows I love talking about corporate culture in this enterprise of measuring customer impact. Is this is this incremental? I mean, can this answer the question?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly think we need to get back to really thinking about human happiness, humanity, because we all know, I mean, studies have been done, happier employees do better work.
Yes.
So are they happy? Are you happy doing task work? Are you happy in the monotony?
No.
So I think we can measure it based on how happy the team is. And it's the same thing that you would think about in NPS. It's about collecting the data when you need to collect it.
Well, and you want happy is an interesting term because I use the same term, but people are like, well, what's happy? Happy are people who come to work, they do their job, they feel satisfied with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you did an NPS score to them, would you recommend us for for your friends to work here? They would say, yeah, I think that's as happy as we can manage at this point in time.
Sure.
But then a lot of that is also the other things that you're doing. So health and wellness, how do you support them? Do you partner with organizations that are bringing different tools or products? You and I have talked about Drop.
Love Drop.
Coming soon.
Right.
More to go into detail on that one.
What is Drop?
So Drop Band is a non-powered band that is driven by health, wellness, and experience. Also has payments integrated. Can do a variety of, or help create an experience for your customers, folks who are attending an event, your employees, to be able to better interact and utilize technology, some of the AI tools that are built into it, to show that you care about them and you care about their happiness and their welfare, and you want them to be able to do a facial scan and check their blood pressure and their mental satisfaction before they come to work. A lot of cool things built into that. Plug out to Ted Baker. We'll talk more about Drop. I know you're going to meet with him on a later episode.
Stay tuned for that episode.
But a lot of interesting connections are going to happen as you start looking at how do you create that culture? How do you create that consistency? Walmart has a huge challenge. They have so many different folks that work for them in different areas.
Yes.
You may be in the warehouse, you may be in a distribution center, you may be in a store. And for them trying to create that consistency of experience, let alone externally, just internally, is very, very difficult. So what are the tools? What are the AI elements that you can plug in? The items, again, that up-level that experience and help you create that consistency where you in Bentonville, someone else in the middle of Texas can go, yeah, that's what my world feels like.
Yes.
And I love it because that's what it feels like.
Yes. So in order to do all this, you mentioned up-leash and upskill, I think.
Up-level.
Up-level.
I think unleash was yours. Yeah.
Unleash, that's so much better.
Yeah, I don't think we want to up-leash anyone.
Up-leash?
That may get us in trouble.
Right?
Yes.
We need the best, to be sure, in order to be able to make the best of these technologies, we need the best and brightest. And, those that are adaptable, resilient, able to adapt to change is coming fast. How are organizations going to keep hold of their best and brightest? Are we talking, and the phrase I like to use is this a coming war for talent?
Yeah, it's always been a war for talent. The best companies have the best team members. This is just a race to do that. You look at a company like Meta offering a developer $75 million a year.
One person.
And all they did was laugh.
They turned him down.
They turned it down. They're making more at the AI company that they work for.
How do I apply for that job?
That's what I wondered.
Yeah. $75
what are
million.
those qualifications?
Yeah, to be able to laugh at $75 million is
Caitlin
wild.
Clark doesn't make that kind of money.
I know.
Although she should.
Yes, 100% agree. But yeah, it is a war for talent. Again, it's about empowering. It's the same. It's the thing that we're talking about. It's finding more humanity. It's getting people to work on the problems they want to solve versus the problem. It's the monotony of the day-to-day that people get bogged down by. If you're solving a problem you want to solve and you have a mission behind what you're doing, you're going to go out and do that and be satisfied with what you're delivering. And so that's what you need to do. We have to solve bigger problems.
If all you did today was clean out your email box, you're solving the wrong problems.
Exactly. You think about how much impact does that have?
Yeah.
Can you drive more impact doing other things?
And I think there will be a difference between people taking a job and wanting a job.
Oh, yeah.
So there are lots of people who will take jobs.
Right.
They need to pay bills. They don't care to do more than X, whatever it is from that side, versus people to say, I want that job. I want to work at that company because they are doing things different. They're creating a better experience. They have, they've lopped off the 20% of my day that was cleaning out my email box and given that back to me and said, go do good into the world. Awesome. What if the only thing that came out of the improvement of AI was we were able to give every person back 2 hours out of their day to go volunteer with a charity? or give back in some way.
We love
Hey,
that
that's
give
a
back
neat idea.
concept.
Absolutely.
But how do organizations? Okay, so upskilling their teams is one factor, but being able to net promoter score, I think, works in terms of recruiting, right, as well. How likely are you to recommend a job to your friends? But how do organizations advertise that they understand this concept of being able to recruit and retain the best and brightest? There's a lot of the expression escapes me at the moment, but there are a lot of mills that just churn through workers. They might pay well, but they burn you out fast, and they have a revolving door. And I'd like to think that the day is coming when that's no longer going to be possible. But on the flip side of that, let's let that resolve itself. On the flip side of that, how do you advertise your culture to the external world to let other folks know that, yeah, you want to work here?
I mean, you're a marketer, so what's the best type of marketing?
The marketing that doesn't cost anything.
Word of mouth.
Yes.
So the better you do into the world, the more you do for your team, the more they're going to talk to people. And I see that with me. Like, my whole career, I've kind of brought a bunch of people together that are great, and I stay in touch with those people. So great people have great friends that want to come work somewhere. So the better you're doing, the more it's going to get out into the world. So I think that's the number one thing you can do is just do a good job. Great products always win.
We'd like to think so, although the Betamax might have something to argue with you.
Yeah.
But I think employers will have to be careful in the fact that it's much easier to validate and much easier to prove or disprove now what that experience looks like. If you think back to the days in whatever year it was, I decided I was going to change careers. I was probably 22, and I went home and I got a newspaper. I know not everybody understands what that is.
What's a newspaper?
It's this thing they used to print, and you
I was
can
going to say, what's Betamax?
Yeah,
you guys are dating yourself.
Yeah, yeah, you dated with that one. I dated with
Yeah,
this
I
one.
know. Oh my God.
But and I went and I looked and I read what these jobs were telling me they were.
Yes.
And that was all I had to go on.
But you believed it.
Why not? It's in print. Again, it wasn't on the internet. It's different. If it's on the internet, you don't have to believe it. If it's in print, you have to believe it. No. But the only way I found out was by calling people that I knew that worked there in the company to say, hey, what do you know about it?
Yes.
Now, again, sort of like the search earlier for bourbon, always comes back to bourbon. But it only takes me a second or two if I watch an ad or if I watch a reel of a company saying, oh, this is what it feels like to work for us. I can prove or disprove that really quickly.
Yes.
And if you're putting this noise out into the market that's not real of what it feels like to work at that company, people are going to very quickly go, okay, I don't want to be there because that's not, one, it's not true. Two, what else am I walking into?
Yeah.
If they're willing to fake that, then why would I want to be there?
Right.
Well, you look at something like Glassdoor too. That's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's anonymized, but you get a good understanding of how well that company's doing and how they treat their employees.
Yes. So this change, creative destruction, as is known, is all coming fast and furious, probably faster than we want it to come. What are the recommendations that you would have for folks running large organizations? What do they do? I like to ask this question. I'm going to make it a habit, I think. Tomorrow morning, after they listen to this podcast, they get up tomorrow morning, they're driving into work, right? Or if they work from home, they're walking to their desk. What are the top 3 action items that they should have top of mind for what to do next to make the most of what we're talking about here?
Well, number one, it's embracing the change. We hear of companies mandating against the use of AI.
Really? Wait, against it?
Yeah. There are some companies that are out there mandating not to use AI.
It reminds me, back in the 90s, there were Fortune 500 companies that actually made the declaration, we will not have a website. in the early days. In the early
They're
days,
no longer
They
around.
may not be here anymore.
No, but it was back.
Let's list those names because no one would know who they are now.
But in the early days, it was most of the World Wide Web was porn, and for that reason, they said we shall not do that. We cannot go that. We cannot take our brand into that environment. So, but this is fear, I guess, that's driving these decisions.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid of where it could take you, but one, empower. And something that I'm doing is our team members have a budget to test tools because these tools are popping up quick. So you got to really figure out because then you're sourcing ideas from your team too. What tools should we implement across the organization? Someone has to test it. Either you employ an organization, a sub-organization or department in your company that will test these things, maybe on the technical side, or you embrace and empower the people that are on those teams that are solving, because really you need to solve, if you're a marketer, you need to solve marketing problems. The tech team's not going to know how to solve a marketing problem with AI tools. So you need to figure out how to empower the departments. A good way you can incentivize that is give them some sort of stipend to spend on these AI tools.
Yep. Wait, what's the third one? It's always, I'm a marketer, so everything comes in threes.
Okay.
Embrace, empower.
And then 3 is scale.
It's got to start with an E.
Yeah, embrace, empower,
It's got to start with
embark.
You tech guys, you're always the same. This is why you need a marketing guy to be able to message this language.
Yeah. Embark on it. Like really like scale, figure out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Embrace, empower, embark. He gets a point.
All right.
I think that's
one
worth
back.
a point.
Good.
We're tied now.
All right.
Uh-oh.
We might have to go into overtime to resolve this. Embrace, empower, embark.
Yep. So like, once you found the things that work,
Go do it.
How do you
just start on that journey?
How do you spread it to the rest of the team?
Well, I like it. That works.
Yep.
So
do I get to answer the 3?
you gotta jump in,
Okay.
man.
Well,
The ball's in the air. If you want that rebound, you gotta
You've
grab
had
it.
time now to.
He was going down the path.
Yeah.
No, I will borrow back to the why part of it. Again, huge Simon Sinek fan, but as he thinks through things, if I was coaching a larger organization, especially, it would be the why, the how, and the what. Why are they doing this? Why do they need to change what they're doing? What is their mission? What is their goal? How might these changes impact their organization if they're able to execute these? And then what are those changes that need to happen as you go down to that level? And the whole thing behind Simon Sinek in his world is the fact that most people start the opposite way. And they start with what, and then they work towards why. And so that's where you get really bogged down and people go, look, if I could just fix this one thing in my job, okay. But you fixing that one thing in your job may have caused 20 other problems.
Right.
So if we reverse that and we start with the why and then come down, we'll have a list of 100 things to go work on from that standpoint. And then I think I would marry that part with exactly what Spencer's saying of once you've gone through that process, now it's that empowering. No, what was the first one? Embrace. Yeah. So really embracing the idea that this needs to happen. We're on board. We're going to do it. Empower the people to be able to go do it and try things. And then embark. When you said that immediately, I thought, just start.
Yeah.
You can talk about things till you're blue in the face, but somebody eventually has to push start.
Right.
And let's embark on this journey and go do it. And then it's constantly from there. It's defining it. It's understanding the going and executing, and then having the discipline to come back and review it and be able to say, did this work? Did this work against what we had hoped or measured or created? And then you determine your next set of actions.
Oh, no, it makes perfect sense. So we've spent awful lot of time talking about organizations, talking about executives. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about the people who are actually going to be pushing the button. This is happening fast and furious, right? To the average Joe, average Sally working at the enterprise. How do they prepare for this? How do they engage? How do they get involved? It's scary, right? I did a whole session the other day with another guest talking about the anxiety of this of this work. How do they manage all that? Any recommendations for the workers?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to figure out a way to stay in the know on what's happening, but also think about it from an opportunistic standpoint. Like, how is this going to improve my day to day? And how can I implement this into my day to day so I feel better about it? Like, this is why people are scared. They're scared because they're uncertain of how it's going to change their lives. But if it's improving it because they've gone out into the world and tried it, they're much more likely to embrace it. I think that's what happened with me, and how I caught the AI bug was just trying things and figuring out, wow, I can save, I saved 2 hours a week on my email there because
Nice.
I have the drafts in my draft box. Like,
Yes.
so those are the things I think you can't be left behind. You can't expect other people to utilize it if you're not.
Right.
So I think empowering everybody, and unfortunately a lot of people that consider themselves not tech savvy, I think we're going to get to a world where you're going to have to figure out how to integrate these tools at some point. So you have to figure out how to utilize it in some way, shape, or form. You can still be a relationship person and meet with people, but you should be trying these things and figure out how it can improve your life on a day-to-day basis.
I have to go back to an earlier conversation, a term that we have not brought into this conversation, but I think fits into it, of the idea of this meat puppet, of a human that just
Meat
walks.
robot.
Meat robot. Sorry, not meat puppet. Meat robot that just goes through the world and execute, and doesn't think. And if your desire is to be that type of meat robot, go to work, push button, push button, push button, push button, go home. AI may not be that helpful to you. You actually may be fearful of it because it now is going to mess with your rhythm of, like, I just want to be behind the scenes. I don't want anybody to mess with me. But if you're that type of person that today may be stuck in that world and says, I'm built for more. I know I can do more, but I can't get out of this thing. Maybe I'm really good at this spreadsheet, so they keep giving me the spreadsheet. But if I can figure out how to use AI to do that part for me, now I can go shine. Now I really can get out into the world and no longer be that meat robot.
To summarize, if you're a meat robot, AI is coming for your job.
Yeah.
Very possible, yes.
There's the clip. That might get left on the cutting room floor.
Don't be a meat robot.
Don't be a meat robot. Is that a bumper sticker?
Could be. We'll talk to AI and see if it can put together a marketing plan for us and design the color choices that would be optimal for the meat robots.
I'm very careful about what language I put into my prompts. I'm always polite. I say please and thank you. I don't want to upset the AI. But I don't know if I want to seed the idea, even though they're listening, of
They're listening. Yeah.
Oh, this will show up later on our phone, guaranteed.
Yeah, these humans, these meat robots are starting to annoy me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. So okay, to wrap it up, let me revisit the question number one. Is AI going to lead to the end of the world as we know it?
No.
Professional opinion, no?
No.
Okay. Daniel, vote?
It will definitely not be the same world.
No.
I don't think it will be the end of the world as we know it by any stretch, but it will be a different world. And I think it's going to be a world full of much more opportunity for people, the right people that are focused on where they want to go, how they want to develop, how they want to create a better experience for those around them. I think AI is a perfect fit in that world. Is that 2 months? Is that 10 months? Is that 10 years? I have no idea. But as people understand it and embrace it, it'll pick up even more steam.
So, as I like to say, get uncomfortable, stay uncomfortable, and you'll do well.
Yeah.
That's a good message. So it is a message of hope, perhaps, that AI can improve the human condition.
I would fully embrace that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need more good people in the world. There's going to be bad actors that utilize AI, but we need good actors who utilize AI. So it'll offset. There's going to be good and bad with it. You can't say it's 100% going to be good.
But I'm sensing a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, I don't think any of us know where it goes.
True.
I think that's the challenge.
True.
So,
but as we've learned with many things in life, if we do not get involved, it will take on a life of its own.
exactly.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yes.
It either happens to you or with you. It's your choice. And again, you don't have to be hands-on. You don't have to be the person programming and doing it. but you have to understand where the opportunities are for you to integrate, learn, and improve versus sitting in the corner going, it's coming, it's coming, and not know what to do with it when it gets there from that side.
It's happening whether we like it or not.
Yes.
Well, hopefully we've provided some answers today for organizations that are, shall we say, trepidatious about the technology, for individuals who have some concern. I'm on the record, I've said multiple times, my wife hates AI. As she describes, no Hollywood movie ever had a happy ending. But that's Hollywood. But that's a whole nother, we could do a whole episode on that. But hopefully we provided some answers, some guidance. Gentlemen, I got to tell you, having you two on the podcast today, I could not have done this without you. Your expertise invaluable in guiding these discussions. I think the fact that we're talking about this is most important of all.
For sure. We appreciate you. Thanks
Absolutely.
for having us.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time. On behalf of the Unboxing the Office podcast, this has been amazing. Hopefully, this was helpful. Like, comment, and subscribe, as they all like to say, to thank our sponsors, Hot Logic, the AI oven that we keep plugging on this episode, which we love to do. Thank you. Looking forward to the next episode. And of course, the drop on a future episode, as Daniel brings up. That's the podcast.